Facebook land. How are we today? So today's coming a little later than the last few days, and I'm going to mix it up, Remember, I really do need your help sharing and liking and getting the word out there. I want to grow organically. And I definitely cannot do that alone. We all need a little help from my friends. So share, share, share if you like what you're hearing so far. I do want to let you know that this page is not going to be probably exactly what you think, okay? I don't have any magic or secret. I don't know the one thing that's going to get you to this real life that you're hoping for, that we're all trying to achieve. There is no secret to being perfect. I don't have that. Okay. I'm going to more tell you how to get what you want. Okay. How to get what you want and how to make, your real life happy and fulfilling, and just loving every second and getting excited to get up every morning. Okay. I'm also not going to give you hair advice. I tried for 5 minutes to get this to look decent, and I didn't really care anymore. Didn't have the time, didn't want to spend my times and energies and efforts on that. So we get what we get, right? All right. So you be you, I'll be me. I'm not going to break down your macros for you or tell you you're in a toxic relationship and that you need to get out. I'm not going to tell you how to make $1 million. All right. I'm more going to tell you how to change for good and not just change for now. I think too often we're just looking for that quick fix and we want to change right now. Give me some one thing I can do to get what I want so I can be done and go back to doing what I want. And that's not how true long lasting change happens. And so I think too often people start big, they start huge, and then as they get overwhelmed, they start taking away from these kind of things or tricks or tools or habits in their portfolio. And ultimately, their efforts are short-lived and unsuccessful. Okay. So instead, what I want to do is to start small and then build up to bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay. So we need that solid foundation. So kind of imagine the food guide pyramid. All right. So that's what we're going to do with how we're going to change our life and develop this real life, this happy life, this fulfilling life that we're working on. So, for that to happen, we need to change our thought process and change our lives, and you have to do the work, okay? I'll give you some tools and motivation in order to make that happen, but you need to do the work. With that goal of changing for good as opposed to changing for now in mind, this whole week, I'm going to focus on some kind of big foundational behaviors and changes that you should begin to think about and begin to incorporate into your life. And so today we're talking about enough is enough. Okay, I'll talk more about that in a minute. We're going to talk this week about setting goals and then why you want to set those goals. So your goal and the why of that. Having a plan, and then also expecting failure. Okay, so failure is a part of success. We don't like to hear that, but we need to talk about that, so that you understand when there is a failure or a setback, that it's natural and it's no need to quit. Okay, so we'll talk about that. We'll talk about having a plan. Oh no, I just said that. We'll talk about habits and change. Change is scary for a lot of people, myself included. And so we kind of need to talk about that a little bit. Having no excuses is a big one. I hear excuse after excuse after excuse about why people can't lose weight and why they can't, meal prep and why they can't exercise and, yada, yada, yada. It's kind of bullshit. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about motivation or lack thereof. I think that is something that we need to have open eyes about when we go into this new life we're trying to create. And we're not going to talk about that necessarily in that order, but those are all the things that we're going to touch on this week. So be sure that you stay tuned and share. Okay. So today we're talking about enough is enough. Okay. I think that the first step to changing your life is to decide that the current situation you're in, okay, is no longer acceptable. Okay. That what you're doing, what you're feeling, how you're living, how you're eating, how much money you're making, whatever your goals are that relate to that relating, eating, achieving, and loving, whatever it is, wherever it is that you are right now, obviously, if you're watching this and you're looking for motivation, you want to change that. So first, you need to decide that what you're doing right now is no longer acceptable, okay? I call it my last straw moment. And just because most of us are watching, like a big topic for us is, weight loss, good health, fitness, all of those kinds of things. I'm going to tell you my last straw moment for when I lost when I started on the journey to lose my 80 pounds. And so it was January 3rd. Okay. No. Okay. Give me a minute. It's been a long time. It was in December of 1994 that I had thought about losing weight. My mom came to me and said, "Do you want to start Weight Watchers with me?" And I'm thinking, no. It's December. There are cookies to be eaten and, copious amounts of desserts and foods. It's the holidays, man. It's no time for dieting. So I said no. Fast forward to January 3rd of 1995. I was sitting in my bedroom. I still lived with my parents at the time. I was 21. I was sitting in my bedroom and I had on my favorite jeans and my favorite red sweater. And I wish we could interact a little bit more because I would ask you why you thought they were my favorite. But I'll just tell you, they were my favorite because they were the only ones that I could fit into. My jeans were a size 22 petite. Did you know that they made size 22 petite jeans? And then my sweater was like an XL or XXL, something like that. And I was sitting there and I felt so gross. I was outgrowing. Those were my fat clothes. I was outgrowing my fat clothes and I just couldn't take it anymore. I just sat there and thought, Dawn, what are you doing? This can't be you anymore. And that was my last straw moment, was sitting there in that moment, outgrowing my fat clothes and feeling disgusting and just feeling like I had a fat suit on. And like, if I took, it would, if it was possible, I would just like take from my neck down and start peeling that fat suit off. And I knew there was something so much better, so much more the real me underneath that. And I just decided that I had enough. So I think that we need to get to that point before we can start making a change. Okay. Tony Robbins said, I want to get this right, so I'm going to read it. Change happens when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change. So change is scary, but sometimes staying the same is scarier and more painful. So when you have that feeling, that's going to be your enough is enough moment. Your level of commitment is directly related to what you're willing to put up with. So until now, if you haven't made any changes, you've been willing to put up with whatever your size is, whatever you're eating, whatever your job is, whatever your relationship is. You have been willing to put up with that. And that's kind of on you, okay? That's nobody else's fault, like somebody brought the cake to the party and it was a birthday and I had to eat it. No, you didn't. You were just willing to put up with how you were going to feel later, okay? So remember, whatever you're willing to put up with is on you and it's no one else's fault. And the sooner you take responsibility, the sooner you can take action into changing that, okay? You are the one accepting and excusing your behaviors at this present moment, okay? So we have to just like throw up our hands and say, enough is enough. Raise your standards, people. Raise your standards, okay? So with that being said, your action for today, I'm always going to give you something to do, okay? This is not just something to think about. We have to take action. We have to do something in order to make change. So your action today is to identify your enough is enough moment. Okay. And you can do that for all four of our I guess categories, if you will, for relationships, for eating, for achieving, and for loving, or just one. It doesn't have to be super intense, but identify what it is that you are no longer willing to put up with. Okay. For your relationships, what are you no longer willing to put up with? For me, sometimes that's like, it's not always a big enough is enough moment. Sometimes it's a small one. My kids are awesome. You guys, most of you know, I have a 18-year-old daughter and a 19-year-old daughter. They're almost perfect, but they're not perfect. And sometimes I have enough is enough moments when they're like back talking me and giving me crap for like just taking their bad day out on me. And I'm just like, all right, I've had patience up to this point, but enough is enough. We need to change your behavior. And I can't put up with that anymore. So, whatever it is in your relationships, in your eating and health, what are you no longer willing to look and feel like? Okay. What are you no longer willing to look and feel like? You heard my before. I just told you my enough is enough moment when I first started. I still have enough is enough moments. I'll allow myself to kind of slip a little bit. And over the summer is typically one of those times. And right now, you guys, my abs gone. They're non-existent. Don't see an ab unless I suck it in, dehydrate myself, lay down, and like stretch out. So I'm kind of done with that. I already have my core workout plan today. I got to get back into hitting that hard. So that's what are you no longer willing to look and feel like? For your achieving, what are you no longer willing to struggle with? Okay. Your bank account. Okay. An unhappy life. I don't know what that is for you, but identify that. And then loving. What are you no longer willing to settle for? Like if you hate your job, stop settling it for it. It's not going to happen overnight, but you have to at least say, that's it, I'm making a change, and then begin to work towards that and take action. Okay. So what I want you to remember, and oh shoot, I lost her name. Hang on. There's a quote, and I listed it in the description of this video. I think it was Stephanie Bennett Henry. Okay, she said, there is always a final straw, but it's not any worse than the dozens of straws that came before. They were the same. You just finally learned the lesson that you are more than you settled for. Okay? So your last straw isn't any different than the other straws, aside from the fact that it's the last one. It's the one that you're finally like, enough is enough. Okay? I am no longer willing to settle for this. So today, I want you to get real about what you're settling for and begin to believe that there's like this glorious, exciting, real life waiting out there for you to discover. Okay. So that's what I have for you today. Tune in tomorrow to hear about one of the topics I talked about earlier. It's also in the description of this live video. And I can't wait to see you tomorrow and share with you. Share this video. I will talk to you soon. Peace.